So yeah, I don't. What I'm getting at is I don't think I want to be shoehorned in or like pigeonholed into a very distinct section of YouTube or an online space currently, at least for this account. I feel like I want to keep it a little bit more malleable, I guess, to start off with, a little bit more mutable. Um, yeah, I think that's probably what I'm leaning towards at the moment, and I think that's why I've been finding some of the videos I've been recommended recently to be a little bit more interesting, is because some of the posters for these videos and like the things they express or talk about also I think share a similar sentiment sometimes, and that is that it's sort of this thing in flux where they're trying to like figure things out, whether that means like the style of the video or oh, I got a PhD. Whether that's like the in terms of like the style of the video or like the content that they specifically want to produce, and things like that, or like the way they want to present themselves. It's still very much in flux, sort of, but I don't think it's like totally, completely, like I don't think it's just like this complete like tabula rosa blank slate kind of thing either. I think a lot of people do have a sort of like in this space have like a sort of distinct enough characteristic or persona where their like content resonates with a lot of people for whatever reason. And so yeah, but then it's like from then on, it would be like a sort of journey thing or like a pathfinding thing, or just like figuring direction out a little bit more. And yeah, I think this is a very sort of, it can be a very energetic and creatively charged energy and time for people like this and for posters like this. So and I'm kind of feeling it a little bit myself, I think. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep more or less doing what I'm doing so far, while trying to keep an open mind more or less regarding possibilities and in terms of like direction of content or flow or persona or like how I want to proceed in a way. And it's not like, okay, I do sort of have, I'm leaning towards something immediately already, which is, and that is like, probably more read-alongs, which is weird, because I never imagined myself being the type of person, for whatever reason, to start like an online profile where I just do like readings of things, like whether it's like visual novels or short form sort of like stories or things of that nature, or like more narratively focused games, I guess. Yeah, I just didn't expect this to be like a potential trajectory for whatever reason. It's just something like I randomly kind of started on the other day, literally. Well, I almost distinctly remember in one of my recordings of this game, I was just like, oh, why don't I just like read some like visual novel or story, and then upload it, or like start on that. And then I was like, okay, yeah, let's just do that. And then, oh, you know what it was? I think it was because I was like trying to figure out what I want to upload next, because literally I just have like hundreds of recordings of this game so far where I'm just talking about nothing, and I'm definitely not gonna upload all of them. And so I was like, okay, I'm like, I need to find something else now at this point. So I was trying to recall what are some other stuff that I played in the past or like felt compelled by in the last few years. And I remembered that like maybe a year or two ago I played a series of like visual novel style games online on like itch.io that resonated with me quite a bit at the time, and I think still do. And so I was like, oh wait, why don't I just do like a reading of those? And then while I'm doing a reading of those, I can sort of like provide tidbits of commentary here and there or something, or like just give off my impressions or thoughts. And so yeah, that's like what's been happening so far. Also, I kind of want to try something. I'm kind of surprised that this moth followed me this entire way. I can't believe this is working, but I also very much can believe this is working. So yeah, like I think I'm just gonna more or less continue the way that I've been continuing, while also trying to keep in mind various directions of trying to like keep in mind that things can also be mutable in a way and flexible as well. And okay, I've always wanted to visit that area. I've literally never gone here before. Okay, I don't think it's anything actually. Oh! Oh, okay. So there's like a floppy disk. There's like a rare floppy disk and a stamina or adrenaline shot or whatever that is. Good to know. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna need my moth friend to help me out here. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna get through this together. Somehow. Okay, I don't know if this is possible at this point. We're gonna have to like steer this way a little bit. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Okay, just go this way. Oh my goodness. Go this way. So yeah, that's just like what's been on my mind a little bit for the past, I would say mostly the past 2 days, because I feel like both a lot and not a lot has happened in the last 2 days. Like nothing significant, like outwardly or like immediately extremely significant. Like nothing crazy happened in terms of like my life circumstances or whatever. I just feel again that it's more so like subtle internal shifts that are then being kind of like reflected in my environment in ways that are a little bit like more nuanced but also kind of distinct. I know there's a lot of ways where I can like phrase this that just makes it sound dumb, which is like, oh, it's been like a radical consciousness shift in like my own like personal paradigm of conceptualizing the world or something. But no, it's nothing like that. I don't know what it is. I think it's just less describable. I think it's less immediately describable, and I think I'd prefer to keep it that way. So I will keep it that way. Okay, honestly, this is dumb because like I can't even get through this. I forgot that I have to press the buttons. Like, what am I doing? The whole point of this section was to press the buttons. Like, press the button so like that hatch could be released, but it's whatever. I'll just hang out with my moth friend, and we'll just yap, because like well, first of all, to be honest, I feel like I've lost contact with all of my, like, not all, but like I just have not spoken to a lot of my existing friend groups that I've had in the past. And it's not like anything dramatic happened. It's more so just like a quiet a quiet sort of thing that happened. I don't know why exactly, but it just did. But maybe I should. Maybe I should reach out to some of my friends. Oh! Wait, there is an opening. Hold on. Yeah, I've just not been reaching out to, like, any of my friends for, like, the past while, honestly. Like, I know I already have a tendency to isolate, like, almost naturally. But, yeah, it's gotten to a point. It's gotten to a point where it's like, wow, I have not... Oh my goodness, I cannot actually believe that. Oh, so you... I didn't know this. You don't even need to press the buttons to get through the section. There's this, like, tiny entrance here. Wow, okay. Thank you. That's crazy. Okay, well, 60 hours into this game, I learned something new. So yeah, that's just like where I've been, or that's just like sort of the things I've been thinking about recently. What am I trying to say? I guess to summarize, I'm probably going to test out a series of ways of like outreach, or I guess, or like I do not want to call it networking, because I just don't like the way that sounds, and personally I just was never that good at it in like a more formal business or like work like setting. I don't really want to call it connecting either, because I don't know, just something about that term doesn't always feel as accurate as it could be for me. So I'm just gonna say, like, going with the thing, or going, I don't know. I don't want to say going with the flow either, because that, okay, who cares? Like, that doesn't matter. What, like, why am I getting so fixated on the vocabulary or whatever? I guess, okay, another thing I like to talk about or speak on. Long jump after jumping. Wait, okay, plus long jump after jumping while crouching. What does that mean? I don't know. I'm gonna try it out. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me a lot of, like, bee hopping or bunny hopping from Source games. Okay, this is kind of crazy. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but we'll see. Okay, so I guess the next thing that I'd like to talk about is my voice and my vocal delivery, because it's been sort of all over the place, but I would say overall it's been mostly very monotone and subdued, which I guess is okay if some people are into that. But, like, I was listening to some of my recordings at my work during downtime to, like, figure out edits and cuts and things like that. And while I was, like, listening to myself, I was, like, legitimately falling asleep in certain sections. And I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because, first of all, I'm not like talking about anything that particularly interesting, I feel. And second of all, I'm just like, I'm almost approaching it in a way. It's not even like, it doesn't even, I would say ASMR is usually even more interesting. Like soft-spoken ASMR is usually more interesting in terms of delivery as opposed to like whatever I'm doing. I think it's just like my flat inflection slash monotone thing is just, it's gotten to a point where I'm like almost too comfortable with it sometimes. And while I do think that it is sort of a part of me, for better or for worse, I still do want to like try to differentiate a little bit, in terms of like my style, my pitch, my vocal delivery, things like that, and also my volume too, because I think my volume's just been like weird. And so I think like one way of playing around with that would be to do more read-alongs of games, and specifically of games featuring different characters, and then while I'm doing the voices for different characters, probably like differentiate them a little bit more, because I've noticed that in like the past couple of read-along games that I've been doing, I've mostly just been assigning the same voice to everybody. even to like the narrator or like the inner monologue when those sections happen. It's just been the same thing. It's just sort of like this subdued, monotone kind of pitch and delivery, and I think it would help more. Well, one, it would just be more interesting in general, I think, for like a potential viewer, if they just like, I think it would just be more interesting for them. And then secondly, I think it would allow me to practice on these things like vocal delivery and style a little bit more. Like, I don't want to call it voice acting because I just do not feel like I qualify. I just do not feel like I qualify in any sense of the word or that field, because it's like it is filled with so much like talent, and I genuinely do not. I'm like flabbergasted by videos where people are like, oh, doing like 40 voices of like media characters, doing impressions of like 40 characters of random like characters from shows or whatever. I'm like, wow, how do you? That's incredible. Like, I can maybe do. I'm not even sure if I can do like one okay. Yeah, like I don't know how they do it. It's a talent. But I did get some videos recommended to me recently regarding like vocals, and there's like one video in particular talking about like the larynx more, or like focusing more on the larynx and like tongue, like the tongue, the position of the tongue within the mouth, and how that's supposed to like play a part in things. So I'll probably keep that in mind going forward, specifically more so when I'm doing like readings of visual novel style stuff. So yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I guess I could try a little bit now, which is like, okay. So probably, well, one, I think I need to speak from my like diaphragm slash belly a little bit more, and then two, raise my tongue. Raise my tongue a little bit in my mouth. Oh my goodness, I know this already sounds really weird. Just like raise my tongue in my mouth a little bit more. Like raise the larynx a little bit more. And yeah, do like breathing. Again, focusing on sort of like the belly slash larynx, or diaphragm, I guess. And yeah, I think, oh, another thing is probably like timing as well. Because I think for the most part, I tend to time things very evenly when I'm speaking. Like, I'll just talk about some random thing for a long time, but like the entire time while I'm talking about whatever, it will be more or less like it will be like a very even spacing. I get like that entire delivery, and so I think it would be a little bit more interesting, probably, if I just like played around with the timing a little bit more. In terms of like things said between things, like the space between words and sentences. More of like an, I guess more of like an irregular timing. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Because I think my timing has just been a little bit too evenly spaced out. So I think it would be more interesting if I just kind of like at some sections I for whatever reason I just like again play around with the timing a little bit more deliberately, but also in a way that doesn't feel entirely forced. I think is probably the important part of this, because like inevitably if I have to like think about this too actively, then it's just like what are you doing? You just sound weird and stiff. Whereas like, okay, if I like sort of keep those things in the back of my head sort of, and then not think about it too actively, I think that creates a scenario, or that allows for a little bit more of, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That allows for a little bit more, like the hands in this section should be terrified of me, honestly. Like if I were one of the upcoming hand enemies in the vent, and they like, they were looking at this, approaching them, I feel like they should be scared. Yeah. For those that don't know, you'll see in a second what I'm referring to. So yeah, I think, yeah, those things. I think I wanna. Oh my goodness, what the heck? Where did? Okay. I think there's a way you can. Okay, maybe not. You're basically just supposed to like hold on to. Oh shoot! You're basically just supposed to like hold on to something as you're being pulled, and then wait it out. Okay. By the way, this section I kind of like struggle with a little bit.